The following content is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Connection established. A.D.A. Online.
Hello, and welcome to the second episode of A.D.A. Online. More specifically, this will be the February recap, where I go over the things that I found interesting throughout the previous month. I'm currently back on my laptop. It got out of the repair shop not too long after I finished the last episode. It had total motherboard power failure. Now, I've installed new hard drives and RAM onto computers before, and even though I had a pretty good idea that that was the issue, motherboard repairs are way too complicated for me to do, and thankfully it was only a $30 repair. Like with last time, we're going to do this into 3 segments: the lolcow segment, gaming, tech, and entertainment, ending with the news/political segment. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can start with somebody that I've wanted to talk about for a very long time, but haven't been able to because of other projects taking the spotlight. That person is BossmanJack. BossmanJack, otherwise known as Austin Peterson, is a live streamer unlike any other that I can think of. He will stream himself on a computer, but he doesn't do gaming from a traditional sense. He doesn't do politics, he doesn't stream himself reacting to anything, and he doesn't go on panels with other streamers either. Instead, he is an absolutely brain-fried lunatic and well-known gambling addict casino streamer that has recently gotten out of jail. In both 2014 and 2015, he was arrested for breaking into cars, and I have a couple of his mugshots right here. After getting out of jail, he would eventually start to stream himself playing RuneScape. Now, despite growing up at the perfect time to have played it in its heyday, I've never played RuneScape myself. But from what I've gathered, BossmanJack would stream himself 1v1 dueling other players. In those duels, they would bet in-game gold. BossmanJack, like I said, is a gambling addict and would actually borrow in-game gold from other players to gamble with. Now, when he's up, he is beyond up, but when he's down, he gets really down. I have 2 separate clips right here from the farms I'm going to show.
Baby, I'm begging you. Jagex, I'm begging you. I am begging you, Jagex. Please.
Now,
Please, Jagex.
Look at him. That is the face of somebody who has been up for days.
I'm begging you. Please. Oh my God, please. 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 Please.
Please.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Oh yeah, okay, so you can see like he's getting really excited. You're about to see how insane he gets winning in-game gold.
Come on. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ah! Yes.
Okay, so that was him winning. As you could probably guess, when Bossman wins, he is a very happy Bossman, but when he loses, it's the polar opposite. Now, if you look at him right in the corner, you can see a little hole in his door. That's from him kicking it, losing at RuneScape. This clip is right after he lost a fight with another player. You're about to see how he reacts.
I clicked my food! You can hear me click it! Somebody clip it! I literally clicked, dude!
Alright, so he just turned off the camera. Now you're going to get to hear him break his door even more, and we're going to see how bad that thing gets later. Yeah, that was him ripping the door off of its hinges. So, from what I understand, RuneScape gold can be sold for real-life money, and BossmanJack had actually gotten caught selling gold that he had borrowed from other people for real-life money. Eventually, he realized that he could just cut out the middleman of selling in-game money for real money and just gamble real money online. Now, if you thought him winning and losing in-game gold for RuneScape was pretty extreme, you have seen nothing yet, because when he's gambling real money, he turns into a total crazy person.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Okay, you're about to see him win.
Oh my God, boys, oh my God. Oh my God, I can't stop saying it. Oh my God, you! Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, holy God, oh my 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 God, yo, oh my God, I'm debt free.
So what this means, debt free, all the money that he has spent gambling, he has made back. All the money that he's lost by gambling, he has made back. Now, apparently, this is like a very big deal and a very hard to do.
I'm fucking debt free. I'm fucking debt free. I'm fucking debt free. It's been months. It's been fucking months.
Yeah!
Oh, okay, so I love this clip. You can see how excited he was there in the last one. You can see how excited he is here right now. You can actually see that the door is gone. Now it's a curtain. right underneath the light switches, you can see where he punched a hole in the wall. And if you see that painting of the globe right next to the door and in between the closet, you're going to see that he ripped that drywall out and he's hastily hiding it. Now, the clip that I'm showing you right now, this is actually a video I found on YouTube called BossmanJack loses $2,000 in a minute and breaks his keyboard. Guess what's going to happen?
Whoa! Holy crap, guys!
$1,957.88.
Oh, come on. Come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
Oh, come on.
Look at that. He's lost $700 just like that.
No! That would have been... Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Oh, no. Come on, man. No, f*** you.
Okay, he's already $1,000 down.
No, dude, stop. Stop it. Stop it. Dude, there's no way. There's no f***ing way. Oh, my God, guys. I'm about to f***ing... Oh, my f***ing God, dude. Dude, what is
He's
this?
down $1,300.
Like
$1,300 just like that.
Dude, it's not real. It's not real. Oh, my gosh. Dude, I'm gonna... Dude.
Oh, wow. $25. 7 cents. 7 cents. And he loses that too. He loses the 7 cents. He's got nothing. Now, besides seeing that hole in the drywall that I explained to you earlier, BossmanJack muted the microphone, which is very unfortunate because I would have loved to hear this. You're about to see him destroy his keyboard. Now, watch all the keys fly all over the place. Oh, bending it first. Smash. Oh, Bossman. Now, BossmanJack will also smoke crack on these streams. I'm not exaggerating this or playing it up for laughs. He will straight up actually smoke crack and gamble every dollar he has until he's at zero again. Once he's at that point, he will whine and have to wait until the next day to start all over again with the money that the online casino that he's partnered with at the time gives him. Another thing to know about BossmanJack is that when he runs out of money, he will start begging his audience to give him more. So usually he'll try to manipulate them by saying, oh, I need that money to pay this debt. I need that money. Like DarksydePhil stuff. And again, he will manipulate people to give him that money. And if somebody in his chat is stupid enough to give him anything, he will immediately gamble it and lose it. Now, let's see him talk about that right here.
Dude, somebody please help me, bro.
Somebody please help me, bro.
Dude, somebody please fucking help me,
I know
bro.
one of you guys can help me.
Help me, bro. I know somebody out there can help me, man.
Yeah, he will say things like, I got 2,000 people watching, but none of you are going to help me.
I am in a lot of trouble right now, dude. I'm in trouble, dude. I'm in trouble, man. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, man. Oh, I'm in trouble, man. Oh my God, I'm in trouble, dude.
Ruh-roh.
I'm in so much trouble, dude. Oh my God, I call my mom, dude. She's the only person that'll help me, dude. She's literally the only person that'll fucking help me, bro.
Oh, we're going to see how he treats his mom soon.
Oh my fucking God, this is not happening, bro. This is not happening.
Now, I just want to say this. He lives in his parents' house. He could just go downstairs and talk to his mother.
This is not happening.
He does not have to call her in front of the stream. So we just saw that he calls his mother asking for money when he's gambled all of it away while living in their house. But he will also get into it with his parents all the time. Now, usually this is for the unbelievable level of noise that he can produce. I don't think that it's unreasonable to say that he screams at the same level as Cyrax raxes out.
Please. Mom, shut the fuck up!
Wow.
Shut the fuck up, please! Please! You're a fucking idiot, you don't think! Dude, yo!
Oh my, he would not be living in my house if I had a 29-year-old son screaming like this. Okay, so first, if you look at the door, it's not even on the hinges. So the way he has to put it on it up and down is like by inserting it and like taking it out of the door frame. To the right of that, you can also see he does not have the painting in this one, and he's hiding that hole in his drywall with a towel.
Hey yo, I'm allowed to yell sometimes, bro.
I'm allowed to yell sometimes in my dad. I'm allowed to yell sometimes in your house.
So upset all the time with me. Why can you never just chill? Just fucking chill, dude. Just fucking chill. Just fucking chill, bro. Just fucking chill, bro. Please.
He is insane.
I'm fucking begging you. I'm begging you, Dad. No, you shut up, bitch.
Okay, I do not blame the dad for telling him to shut up. If I just wanted some peace and quiet and I had this upstairs, I don't know what I'd do. Well, actually, I know what they did. So on July 2nd, 2024, BossmanJack got arrested for both assault and drug possession. The story is that BossmanJack and his dad got into an argument, probably something similar to what we just saw, and BossmanJack claims that he slapped his dad. After that, he had his mother drive him to his crack dealer's house. I'm assuming they did a deal there, and when he returned, they had a deputy waiting in the home who searched him, found the crack, and arrested him. After getting arrested a few more times and catching more charges, he got locked up for months. That was until February 3rd when he got, February 23rd, that was until February 3rd, 2025, when he got out on probation for the next 5 years. So, what does somebody who was incarcerated for 116 days do after getting out? Maybe have a nice meal, get home and decompress playing a video game? Well, if you're BossmanJack, you immediately start streaming yourself gambling.
What?
Something happened and luck was on Bossman's side. He claimed that going forward, he was going to be sober. And at one point, he was up like 20K. And another, though I never got a clip of it, he was up like $27,000.
Dude, there's no way this is happening to me, dude. Oh my god, dude. Holy 20x. 20x, 20x, 20x. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro, there's no way. Oh my. I just won $12,000.
Wow. That's not necessarily life-changing money, but that is enough money to get an apartment, get a car, a used car, not a new one, and start over. So to commemorate his new life change, he changed his name on Twitch to Austin Gambles. This was kind of a way to reinvent himself, which is, I can understand that to a pretty good degree. If you're a person who is genuinely changed, you probably would not want to be known for being a crack-smoking lunatic that destroys your parents' home the moment you lose a coin flip. For real, I've got a clip of this right here, him destroying his door even more.
No!
Okay, so we're about to see him lose.
Oh, I lost it all!
You can already see... okay, I paused at the wrong moment, but you could see there's already a hole in the door. And it's way bigger. Slam! Unfortunately, things would not keep going so well for BossmanJack. It was highly suspected that he had relapsed on crack. Now, unfortunately for him, he would do a stream on Discord of all things, which got recorded. Let's listen to some highlights and see if he's acting like a sober man or somebody absolutely zonked out of their mind.
What was that?
Okay, I love this clip so much. He's about to start moving his camera all over the screen while going, "Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
I love that clip so much. That's one of the negatives about living in an apartment. I have to kind of watch my noise level. But you know what? That one could have been chalked down just for fun. Well, we're about to hear him actually say some of the craziest things I've ever heard him say.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm okay. Okay. Let me watch another one. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, I need to get off the computer, huh?
Okay, before we go any further, I just want to say this. What is up with the drywall that's like to his left, right at the bottom left corner? It's like it's just standing there because you can see it's like closer to the foreground than that basket is behind it.
Maybe gods or robots or whatever. What? Take a trip, bro. Dude, I think weed would help me. Dude, the world is our oyster, isn't it? We can literally create. I don't want to act crazy, but do I really have followers? That watch me? Like literally using the brain in between your eyes, right?
The brain in between your eyes.
Like literally using that. I use the right and then the left. Oh my god. This is all real, right? Oh my god. I'm sounding crazy. I don't want to go to a mental hospital
Yeah, he's about to sound a lot crazier.
or anything like that, dude. I can't do this sober anymore though. Being sober, it's done something to me. Like, see, that doesn't. What? There's a lot of people that are.
Oh, okay, so I love this part. I love this part. You're about to see BossmanJack at 29 years old realize that there are a lot of dead people on the earth.
Dead on Earth. Literally, right?
Yes, Bossman, there are people on earth not living.
Oh my God. Why?
So, Bossman was having an interesting night, and it was only going to get more interesting, because he would then cook a steak on stream for his Discord gang. So, he tried to do it in the microwave. We're going to do highlights of it, but I will be pausing anytime I feel like I have something I need to say. I have made a nice few steaks in my time. This is a picture of a tomahawk steak with accordion potatoes that I've made before. Now, I did mess this one up a little because it was too big to fit in my cast iron frying pan, but even with the struggle, I think that you would rather have this than what he's about to make.
Dude, it looks like there's plastic on here. Should I eat the steak?
It looks like there's plastic on here. That's ice, Boss Man.
Oh, yeah, butter and garlic. Yeah. Thank you. How do I do this? Defrost. Oh, here we go.
I'll back Boss Man up on this. I have never in my life used defrost with a microwave. I will just put it, if it's in a Ziploc bag, I will put that in a bowl of water and let it defrost that way.
Cheers. Whoa.
Whoa.
Let's sit in some water? Really?
Water's like the
warm
key to
water
the
or cold
recipe,
water?
right? He's about to say that.
Water is like the recipe, isn't it, to a certain extent?
Look how glassy his eyes are. There is no way he's not on something.
Or no? Warm water? Okay. It's beef broil. Is that even steak? Beef broil? London broil? It's nasty? Put it in the middle. Microwave? Yeah, I think microwave. Let's try microwave it. Make that bad boy. Yeah. Nuke it? Yeah, let's nuke it. Nuke that bad boy real quick. What the?
So this is probably not going to be controversial in the slightest. If you're going to make a steak, I don't care if you use the barbecue, you reverse sear it in the oven, or you fry it. Nobody has ever said the microwave is the best way to do it.
Dude, you're not cooking the steak? I should just microwave it, shouldn't I? Turn on the stove? Yeah, just microwave it. Yeah. Just nuke it. Okay, all right. Nuketown. Call of Duty. All right. Put some salt on it.
Oh, okay, so you're about to see this steak. The only way I can really describe this is if they fed this to prisoners and they rioted, I would not blame them.
Some salt. Some salt.
So, okay, so he's going to try and eat this steak on a paper plate with a plastic butter knife meant for spreading butter and a plastic fork.
Yeah.
Oh, and the steak is still frozen in the center, by the way.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's going to be like really rare. Oh, it's still frozen. Actually, man, this is tough. It's all right. My dad made some cube steak. Look at this. That's okay. That's not bad. Well,
It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. Makes a scowl right as he starts chewing it.
I need some sauce or something. I need something. Worcestershire. Is Worcestershire good?
Now, I'll say this. A good steak only needs 2 ingredients. That is salt and that is pepper. What you should do, if it's have it at room temperature before you even think about frying it. But salt and pepper it half an hour beforehand. Pat it down dry with a paper towel. And then you can cook it and get a nice sear. That is the ad dentum gold standard of making a steak. You cannot mess it up.
No, chewy's good. Beef is good. Chewing on it's good. I'll do A1. A1's all right? A1 is fire. Okay. I like A1. Can we see the cooked steak? Yeah. Here you go, guys.
Oh, look at that. That looks like ground beef that has oxidated too much on the outside, so it's got that color, and it's still like red in the center. That does not look like it looks like liver, if I'm being honest with you, that has been like not even properly cooked.
Not bad. Here.
Oh, look at the juices in that paper plate. That's gross. Ugh. Okay, you cannot look at that and tell me that is not ground. You cannot look at that and tell me it doesn't look just like ground beef, like raw ground beef.
Raw is safe. I would. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No, I'm just kidding. Yo, what up? Maybe the steak isn't good.
Maybe the steak isn't good. Yeah, after eating it, he finally realized.
Turn the stove off? Why?
Oh, yeah, so this
It's
is...
not doing.
Now you're about to see him realize you can't eat microwave steak because that's garbage. So he's going to fry it in a pan.
It ain't saying, is it? What the hell?
Now, you have two ways to cook a steak in a pan. You can either trim off the fat from the steak and let that render out in the pan. That is how I would recommend cooking a steak if you have the fat to do it. Or you could use olive oil, avocado oil, duck fat, beef tallow, lard, bacon grease, something like that to properly cook the steak in. What he is about to do is boil it in butter.
I have water in this pan. Are you testing us? No. Dirty stream. Tip it out, yeah. Okay. Jeez, I'm a mess, man. My brain is melted, dude. It's not good. You on the stove? Is the stove on? It's on the stove. It's sizzling. It's sizzling. Some butter on there.
All right, so he's going to put a little butter in there. That's not uncommon for steaks. Normally, it's done at the end, and you baste the steak with it.
I put a big old slab in there. Put it right on top. Big old piece.
Now, he puts it on the top of the steak, like it's a pancake in a cartoon.
Here. One on top. Let it sizzle in there.
Now, remember, I said boiling because he's about to throw the rest of it in the pot. Or, sorry, in the pan.
The chosen one, what does that mean? More than that? More? Fine amount of butter? Let's just put the whole thing in there.
That is somebody who has never bought groceries in their life. Now, butter isn't, like, super expensive, but if I had a roommate and I found out they threw all my butter in one pan for a recipe, I'd kill him.
Let's put the whole thing in there. Okay, why not, right? Okay, why not? Focus on your steak. Okay, I'll focus on the steak. Hey, look at all that butter, dude. That's a lot of fucking butter, dude. What am I doing?
He's only cooked one side, by the way, so far.
Butter.
He's only fried this on one side.
Dude. Okay. All right. Welcome to your old Discord. This smells so good. I'm going to eat it, dude. Let's eat the steak.
Okay, so yeah, you could clearly see it was red on the bottom there.
Let's eat the steak.
Now, I believe him when he says that smells good. So butter is like 2 of the 5 flavors that humans most like crave, salty and fat. I think this is probably the best steak that he could have made that night, but it is not it's probably not a very good steak.
Or should I not eat steak? Okay. With Steak's name, the gambling site, is that connected somehow with the food? Mmm. 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 Yeah, I'm putting butter on it.
Yeah, he's going to get more butter. So what he does, I unfortunately don't have a clip of this. I should. He came back and he ate the butter straight. Like, just took a bite out of the butter. Now, this isn't super uncommon. The guy who trained Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm afraid I don't know his name, he was on something he called the steak and egg diet. So for 2 years straight, all he ate were steak, eggs, and butter. That being said, I have a funny feeling that Bossman is not on that diet.
Butter makes everything taste better.
That's a fact.
Anymore.
I will agree with that.
Yeah, I need some butter on there. Oh, I don't know where any butter is, guys. Oh, here we go. So I got some Irish butter. Is that all right? Made with milk from grass-fed cows.
Obviously, I don't think that Bossman is going to get any cooking shows anytime soon. Lastly, with him, in the month of February, he went to go see his dealer again and got beat up. So he went on stream, said he fell on his skateboard. Let me get the clip right here.
Went face first into my car, dude. Look at my face, dude. I have a black eye from it. I'm not even kidding. Holy shit.
He's about to say that he had a wake-up call.
I gotta go, guys. I'm good, though. I'm good. I'm alright. Yeah, it just hurts, man. I feel like it was like a sign, dude. I got it. Alright. Yeah, I'm good. I gotta go, guys. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not high at all, actually. Yeah, I'm good. I just fucking... Shit hurt, dude. Oh. Anyways. Oh. God damn, dude. Sorry, guys.
All right, I'll see y'all later. So I'm too much of a pussy to cry in front of people, dude. I'll admit it. I'll admit it, dude. I'm good though. I'm good. I'm fucking fine, dude. I'm fine. Y'all have a good one, man. I'll be back. I don't know how long I stream for. Let's see. All right, I'll be all right. I'll be good. Don't worry about me, guys. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be good. That's just a wake-up call, you know? All right, guys. See you later. See you later, guys.
BossmanJack was in jail for about a quarter of the year, and after having a golden opportunity to switch tracks and fix his life, instead he went right back to where he was. I think that we're most likely going to see him get arrested again sometime later this year, and when that happens, we're not going to see him again for a nice few years. There was something else that came out about Bossman and a woman in rehab, but since it happened a long time ago and didn't really pertain to any of this, I'm not going to be covering it. What I will be covering, however, is Destiny. Destiny is somebody that I'm not really sure if I've ever spoken about before on the channel. So he has been so interlinked with the sector that I'm positive that he has been, at minimum, in one of my Ralph videos. And I think that he also may have been in one of my Boogie videos, but I'm not really sure, so I'm going to do a quick little introduction here. Destiny started streaming StarCraft back in 2010, where he would reasonably talk about his opinions on various topics. Now, later he would eventually start to switch his content into debating people on live streams as well as covering politics. From the first moment that I heard Destiny speak, I had a feeling that there was something really off about him, and in the 7 or 8 years since then, I pretty much feel vindicated that I was right. I would like to believe that I can disagree with somebody on a lot of things and still get along with them just fine. And I'd also like to think that if me and another person on the internet could get along in real life, there's no reason to have an internet feud with them. But when those differences are things like Destiny saying, fuck the innocent people who got shot and killed in a crowd, or making fun of real-life child cancer survivors, I think that those differences are too much for us to ever see eye to eye, even if he had stilts on. On January 20th, 2025, the streamer Pixie Love tweeted out that Destiny had released adult photos of her online and she would be suing him over it. On November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me a victim of revenge. I will be suing him in federal court. Here's my story. I will be suing Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II. On November 29th, I learned that the streamer Destiny had non-consensually shared graphic content of me online. My dignity, peace of mind, and hopes for the future were stripped away from me in a mere matter of seconds, following the betrayal of someone I previously trusted. I am at least the third person he has done this to. I hope to be the last. I will not be commenting on the experience of the other women he has hurt, as it is not my place or story to tell. I will, however, share my story in the hopes of preventing this from occurring again. I have known Destiny for around 5 to 6 years now, and often find myself in heavy disagreement with him. Despite this, I do my best to see the best sides of all people, try my hardest to spread positivity and create understanding where I can. It's corny, but I want to meet people where they are and focus on which ways we can build bridges together towards a better future for everyone. Some people call this a fault of mine. They claim I am naive and should be more careful. Those people are right. The only thing that has kept me going is the hope that I can bring this man to justice and have him face legal consequences for his actions. For the past month, I have been speaking to lawyers about my situation and what to do, and have decided this is the best course of action. I will be suing him for violating U.S. Federal Code 15 U.S.C. 6851, civil action relating to disclosure of intimate images and for publication of private facts in Florida. I will be seeking emotional and punitive damages for his actions. This would then be followed up with another tweet. Since posting this, I've received countless messages of women informing me that they have received pornographic content from Destiny, content they now believe wasn't made or sent with consent. If you've been sent this content, or might be a victim, DM me. We're stronger together. Now, this wasn't the first time something like this had happened with Destiny. On November 29th, 2024, videos of Destiny, for lack of a better term, servicing men leaked online. And as if things couldn't get any worse, one of the men that was suspected to be in one of those videos was Nicholas Fuentes. whose only defense was that the man in the video was wearing a bracelet, and he would never wear a bracelet. There were so many people that wanted to see these videos that it crashed the Kiwi farms. Now, Destiny's cope for this was sometimes you gotta roll with the memes.
Sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes. It is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay. Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens. No, Destiny. That almost, I think that 99.9% of people will never have that happen to them in their lives. Wow. Back to our main story, however, when Destiny realized that this might actually put him on the sex offender list, he had something very, very interesting to say. Bro, if I need to go on the sex offender list, I'm taking like 20 other streamers with me. Okay, lol W? I'm going to say something that I think most people watching this will agree on. It is insanely questionable to know 20 unconvicted sex offenders knowing that they should be on that list. If that number was 1 or 2 people, I could understand. I mean, Destiny is 36, people can see a lot by that point in their lives, but considering the fact that Destiny would share these pictures and videos online, it's hard to think that he didn't have a little ring of people doing the same thing, especially when right after Destiny got exposed again. Destiny has blocked me and banned me and people supporting me from his community. I have not done anything besides ask him for an explanation, as I was assured this was something he didn't do to me. When I wasn't given one privately, I spoke publicly. I am not involved in any lawsuit or coordinating with anyone seeking justice due to the leaks in November, though they have my empathy and support in their efforts. It is only yesterday I became aware that Destiny had recorded me while we had sex without my consent, and with no regard for me, also shared that recording to others. 2 women now have let me know they have received sexual recordings taken of me in September 2023 without my consent. I thank them so much for their concern for me. No amount of public humiliation will ever make me regret being made aware of what was done to me. I will be filing a police report and pressing charges. Now, something I was not aware of until making this is that Destiny has a podcast called Bridges, and his co-host, Not So Erudite, tried to sweep all of his actions up in a public statement. It wasn't very long, but we're only going to read this one little part. I viewed him as genuinely remorseful and acting to fix the harms he had done, which is why I remained in business partnership with him. I am very disappointed and angry with him that he opted not to reconnect with Pixie. I learned of the allegations Cherry made yesterday. I support her and Pixie's decisions and the lawsuit/charges. I've paused Bridges' releases, canceled guests, and will be evaluating business relations as I learn more. I asked Steven for more information, but he's uncomfortable sharing due to legal involvement. Well, it turns out that was a lie. Destiny was on Bridges, their podcast I've, again, never heard of until now, as of March 6th. Though they did have a short break, and Cherry would expose Not So Erudite for lying in a response tweet. Destiny's business partner, Not So Erudite, is claiming to support me. She has me blocked for over a year now after she refused to engage with me after I confronted her and her husband's abhorrent behavior towards an SA victim, disliked by Destiny. To this day, she refuses to honestly acknowledge what happened, what she did, and has instead allowed others to harass me and call me crazy, obsessed, and jealous to avoid criticism for her behavior. Now, if you remember, not too long ago, I showed an image of Destiny saying if he was going down, he was taking 20 other people with him. Well, Cherry would also respond to that on Twitter. Oh, wrong thing. I do not care if we are friends, enemies, strangers, if we disagree politically, debated harshly, I do not care. If you have dismissed me, wrote me off as mentally ill in the past, or if I've made brutal criticisms of your behavior, I do not care. These are not unforgivable crimes to me. I emphasize with anyone who is insecure and connected to throw stones in glass houses. Do not let this man scare you or threaten you into thinking you are the same as him. Do not let Destiny make you think your silence or support of him up to this point, or any point, is a scarlet A on your name forever. I know what was done to me, and I know who did it. Fast forward to January 26th, and a third woman would announce that Destiny had been leaking, as she called, private info/stuff on Twitter. My official stance is, as stuff came out, I learned that my trust was egregiously violated, and that a lot of my private stuff/info was in fact sent to multiple people without me being aware, or having ever consented. I can't go into more detail than that, but this is something that I have been handling legally, and off the internet. I continue to stand by my original reaction. I had the day stuff started to come out. I have nothing to do with him and never will again. I offer nothing but love. As you can probably guess, this was pretty bad for Destiny. Pixie announced that she had received $27,000 in donations for her legal case. The same as BossmanJack had earlier. Now, something that absolutely shocked me is that Ana Kasparian, who I mentioned in the last episode when talking about Nick Rekieta, turns out she was also knowledgeable about Destiny's situation, dunking on some guy called Picasso who claimed that the Young Turks was MAGA news. Something that I think anyone with a brain can say is not true. The Young Turks is MAGA news, Washington Post is MAGA news, Los Angeles Times is MAGA news. Are you still sweeping for the guy who secretly recorded sex with women without their consent and sent it to other women he was trying to have sex with? Insane that these people feel comfortable passing judgment on others. I stand by what I said last episode. Ana Kasparian is the best person on the Young Turks. Ana was partially wrong about one thing there. Destiny also secretly records men doing the same thing, and will then share those recordings around on the internet as well. Destiny would then get into a slap fight with Nicholas DeOrio, a commentary YouTuber, and said that people should be going after the Kiwi farms instead of him. I just want to say how absolutely fucking hilarious it is that you fatsoy were screeching and screaming about how horrible and evil cancel culture is, and the hashtag #MeToo it was. Innocent until proven guilty, but you're super content to take a side on this because of where the popular support is, when only one side has spoken. I'll respond with more substance when I can, but I'm being attacked by people who have literally nothing to lose and everything to gain by saying whatever insane they can publicly, while trying to squeeze me legally, privately, which puts me in the most annoying f***ing spot imaginable when dealing with dicks like you. If you really want to show your nuts, why not attack places like Kiwi Farms where the content is literally still being hosted and blasted to the world? Oh, because that's a scarier place to go after, eh? Talk about cowards. Now, I don't think that many people are going to disagree with this. Let's say you, the person watching this, sent me an embarrassing picture of yourself, and you said to me, do not show this to anyone. If I send that to another person, and they then spread it around, I would be the one that broke the trust and was responsible for that picture releasing. Definitely not the website it was posted to. As I said, a large amount of these were secretly recorded by Destiny to the point where he would literally have his phone recording in his pants pocket while this was going on. They would then be sent to multiple people before finding their way onto the broader internet. This isn't a case of him having a closed-circuit security system in his home that got hacked. This was something that he had to go out of his way to now be in this situation. Destiny would then get a response from the official Kiwi Farms Twitter account about how he was responsible for all of this. Hi, at the Omni Liberal. The law, 15 USC 6851, puts liability for non-con intimate images on the person who released it. There are carve-outs for liability in matters of public interest, such as political figures. You are the only person who can be liable for what you did. This is going to absolutely hurt Destiny's ego, his public image, and most certainly his bank account. As if things couldn't look worse for him, he's already admitted to doing this in private DMs. Okay, let me pull this up. She's not a high-profile micro-celebrity, and you didn't leak it maliciously. You didn't even leak it at all. You distributed it non-consensually. Yeah, I know, I looked into it for obvious reasons, just to be sure. But I don't really care much about the legal side of it or whatever, obviously. I have severely, at the least, psychologically damaged her. Covering therapy or whatever is a minimum, and I have no problem keeping out or sending her money for anything as a form of reparation. I just didn't want it to come off as like, hey bitch, lol, I know I violated your trust in the worst way ever, but here's some money for fun. Destiny, you are dead to rights. Okay, so this is one of the funnier things in this Destiny saga. As you can clearly see, Destiny knows very well what he did was wrong and admitted to doing it. Well, Destiny would actually try to say that he did not leak those videos. I think the problem is all the DMs where you admitted to sharing news without consent seems kinda guilty. I didn't admit it, but keep up the great framing. Now, Destiny actually got community noted. He did in fact admit it. Once February 19th came, Pixie had officially filed the suit, requesting a jury trial. There is actually zero chance that Destiny can win this case. He is beyond dead to rights. I said this earlier, but he took a lot of these videos secretly. Like, he can't argue he's not the one that made them public. He can't argue he's not the one that filmed them. And he can't argue that he's not the one that shared them around in the first place. On February 20th, Destiny would then respond to all of these allegations. I will not be reading the whole thing, but I will be putting out the interesting parts. Purpose, why write this? On January 20th, 2025, Pixie created a Substack post, signaling her intent to sue me. She has since filed her lawsuit in which she claims I shared explicit material we created together without her permission. Until now, I've stayed away from addressing the exact claims she's made in her post and subsequent lawsuit. I am not writing this to appease the accusations made against me by anti-fan communities or other vultures who are here to simply hype up whatever stories they can involving me or others around me. I am not writing this to divulge every single personal detail of my life for the public to comb through in order to harass me or others around me. I am not writing this to respond to the multitude of claims made about me that have been circulating on the internet sometimes for over a decade. A great deal of explicit content of mine has been published on Kiwi Farms, including incredible personal communications of mine. Giving this any kind of public attention is obviously a massive victory for the vulture communities, as well as the leaker, and a massive loss for the privacy of myself and any other victims involved. This is actually kind of infuriating. Destiny is going to try and make it out to say that he is the real victim in all of this. Rose, in April of 2022, I was contacted by Rose. We maintained an amicable friendship up through 2023. We'd never have any fights or disagreements about anything, and we're always on good terms with one another. In November of 2024, as I was clearing out my friends list of people I no longer speak with, I noticed the account was still added and we hadn't spoken in a while. So, I sent a message to it checking in to see how she was doing. I have a strong reason to believe that at the time I did that, someone besides Rose was logged into the account, scrolled up to see all of the messages we'd exchanged, and took steps to protect their identity so they could dump all of the material they'd found in our messages to various Discord servers, and eventually, Kiwi Farms. On that same day, November 29th, 2024, Solo dumped every explicit video I had ever exchanged with Rose onto Kiwi Farms. One of those videos allegedly showed Pixie and I engaged in a sexual act, and she subsequently messaged me and informed me of the leak, while Pixie had posted on her Substack that she had to contact me about the situation first. This was the first time I actually even made aware that explicit material of me involving others was posted on the Kiwi Farms. Again, I would just like to say this. So, Destiny recorded those videos without Pixie knowing about it, sent it to someone named Rose without Pixie knowing about it, and then once he's leaked, he's the victim. D-Day. On January 20th, 2025, while flying back from the studio in New York, I was notified that 2 videos were going live that seemed to be centered on recent events. A video titled Destiny, Predator Unmasked by Cope and Seeth, and Exposing the Destiny Abuse Machine by President Sunday. Both of these videos included a multitude of messages between different parties behind the scenes that I was totally unaware were coordinating with each other. In addition to these videos, Pixie dropped her Substack statement about me. Lord and Hayden launched a Give Send Go for Pixie in order to raise funds to sue me, and other members of an anti-fan Discord made claims about me sharing material on Twitter. All of these events happened within 12 hours of each other. Basically, every internet friend I had publicly denounced me. Other streamers and YouTubers responded almost instantly to cover the statements, and a slew of videos went up with a variety of claims about me. the worst of them, heavily implying I was a racist. All of this also refreshed the attention on all of the leaked material, mine, and Pixie's included, and brought awareness of it to a much, much wider audience than ever before, leading to an exponential increase of harassment across every social media platform I'm on. The last few months have been an utter nightmare for me. It's frustrating that no one cares that Kiwi Farms is still, to this day, hosting all the revenge on their own servers. Now, Destiny, that's a very funny way to say you're upset they're keeping the evidence on their website. I've said this already, I know, but I really feel like it needs to be pointed out. Destiny is solely responsible for these pictures and videos going public, and here he is trying to make himself both sound like the victim and the hero in this story. This is beyond manipulative. Destiny would then get a warning on Team YouTube on Twitter because he was promoting his fans to target anybody talking about his case. Destiny is directly soliciting his community to dox on livestream. He's currently being sued for sexual cyber harassment and criminal complaints are being filed. Does YouTube and YouTube creators not have any rules? This is a solicitation of a crime to be used for harassment. Unfortunately, I don't have the screenshot, but Team YouTube did respond to it. Now, lastly, Destiny realized what kind of a situation he got himself in and posted this. Oh, wrong one. How can I possibly prove my innocence? See, Destiny, I don't think you actually can prove your innocence at this point. It's kind of over. You're dead to rights, solely guilty for all of this. And I think that LawTube, YouTube-wise, is going to have a very fun time going forward. Destiny's brand has become a joke, and while I think that his bank account and views will recover, I seriously doubt that his ego will. And with that, our Destiny segment is finally over, and the Phil segment may begin. Now, let me preface this right off the bat. I am not the man to go to for Phil lore that isn't anywhere further than maybe like level 2 or 3 on one of those iceberg videos. When it comes to Phil, I am somebody that only watches him like a football... I'm like somebody who only watches the Super Bowl. I find Phil, for the most part, to be absolutely unwatchable. Pignosis is something that I have no intention of ever inflicting on myself. With that being said, I have laughed at Phil plenty of times throughout the years. I love the Side-Scrollers arc where he got demolished by Stuttering Craig, and I have also enjoyed his appearances on the Kino Casino. Well, on February 9th, DSP announced that he would be doing another interview. This time, it was going to be with Steve Cambion from the channel Truth Seekers. I believe this is about 2 years after the Side-Scrollers interview.
Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be appearing on a live show with Stephen Cambion as host. All right, so he's calling this, I'm going to be on episode 1 of a new series he's starting. And the name of the series is The Most Controversial People on the Internet.
Now, I think that this series is not going to get an episode 2. I'm pretty sure he just made it to, like, get Phil on.
All right. I already told you what the show will be, but just to reiterate, here's what his idea for the show would be. Okay? He says, I think you have a good story of being an early adopter of gaming streams and Let's Plays. Obviously, you were a pioneer of that genre, and we want to talk about your early history and the explosion of gaming channels, Twitch, girls who stream their gameplay bikini-clad, WWE mobile controversy, your super crazy trolls, the lengths that they go to. I also want to talk about what it takes to survive as a content creator, and because I'm sure you have some excellent insights having survived the game for so long.
Now, let me just say one thing about Phil trolls. They go above and beyond. So, from what I understand, people have actually gotten jobs just so that way they could mess with Phil. There was one guy, most famous, I believe. He got a job at Comcast, Phil's ISP, his internet service provider. And by getting that job, he took advantage of it and would shut off Phil's internet while Phil was streaming. Now, that is 100% like not a good thing. He was definitely like ruining Phil's life in his livelihood by doing that. It's funny, but now you have other people who like hacked into his bank records to find out where all his money was going. I believe that's how they found out he spent like $100,000 on a phone game, WWE Champions. I looked it up and it's just like a puzzle game, like Bejeweled, with like wrestling characters walking around. Absolutely not worth it. People have gone to his home, like, dressed up as, I want to say, the water guy, like, to check his meter, and just, like, taking pictures inside his home. It's crazy.
I promise you a fun and cathartic interview, a journey through your history with some highs and yes lows. But, you know, I want to basically have a highlight on your survivor attitude despite all of your detractors. Sounds like a great show to me. That sounds like it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be informative.
Oh boy, was it entertaining and informative. So let me pull up a picture of Steve Cambion right here. All right, so this is Steve Cambion. His thing is that he goes out and audits UFO people. He will expose them for lying to their audiences in order to make money, using said money to just go to other things than what they said it was going to be used for. Now, a great example of this, and I don't have too many details, I know, but there was a UFO guy that talked about how he saw a UFO above his house or in his backyard. There were lights, everything. So Steve Cambion called all of his neighbors because the guy said the date and the time. So Steve Cambion called every one of the neighbors and asked, like, hey, did you see this at that time? Obviously, they all said no. Steve he's really good at what he does. He's fairly thorough with what he does. And while I'm no Truth Seekers aficionado, I've watched a few of his streams. So Steve got a big boost on the Kino Casino by going on as a guest. And on election night, 2024, both Steve and Phil would meet each other on the casino's coverage of it.
I think we're only... There he is! I was about to say!
Yeah, I know it's like really not well cropped. Let's see, we got Andy Worski, PPP, Phil, Steve Cambion, Null, and Jaden Live, I believe?
DarksydePhil! Yes, he is here! What a moment for Phil to join the panel. The Kino King is here. Phil, Trump's winning the presidency. It's 90% on the New York Times that Trump is going to win.
Let's go!
So I'm not going to say they became friends on that stream, but they both had good interactions by that point, and Phil said he would go on for an interview. Now, in reality, he walked into another trap. Now, we're going to do some highlights of the intro, just because it was a little slow.
Greetings and salutations, friends, old friends, and I'm sure we have a lot of new friends tonight, and welcome to all of you. So tonight we're going to be starting a brand new series here on Truth Seekers. And, you know, a wiser man than me once said that opportunities multiply as they are seized. So some time ago, I got an opportunity to be a guest on the Kino Casino, and I'm so glad I did that. But it was really kind of strange to me because I've been in my own little genre for so long, and being on that show opened me up, honestly, to some of the craziest and most controversial topics and people on the internet. Now, to be honest, DarksydePhil is a hero to some and a villain to many others.
DSP is probably a hero to nobody. I'm going to say that right now. He is absolutely a villain to some people. I'll say this. I think there are a lot worse people than Phil on the internet. He's largely a normal guy. I know he's like a bit of a scammer, but he is 100% a villain to a lot of people.
He was an early video game competitor before a lot of people even knew that there was game competitions, but also he was an early pioneer and adopter of Let's Plays. Some people say he may have invented that term, Let's Play, and then the game that you're...
So I'll say this right now. Let's Play was not invented by DSP. So in 2005, 2004, on the forum, Something Awful, that is where it started. People would do these Let's Play videos. They would do it through like forum posts. It was not created by Phil. He was a very early adopter, I'll say that. But Chris Chan did one in like 2003, so he's a few years behind.
Playing, and of course, video game streaming.
Actually, I'll just say this right now. So Chris Chan, when he did his Animal Crossing Let's Play in 2003, he got the full gameplay, like not filming it with a camcorder on the TV. That is what Phil did until like 2010, 2011.
And he's been at this for many years, which really has earned him a permanent place in internet pop culture. Now, I'm sure that there's some supporters of him watching that that want me to be very, very kind, and I'm going to do my best to do that. Be kind and gentle to him, somebody reminded me. And I'm going to try my best to be fair, but they should know that I've been investigating Phil's history for a couple of weeks now, and I found some things that I wouldn't be doing my job tonight unless I asked him some very hard questions about some of the controversies in his history and what my investigation uncovered. And conversely, I'm sure there's an awful lot of detractors, haters, trolls, call them what you will, that are watching and want me to humiliate him or even crucify.
Now, I want you to guess what there was more of in the chat. People who wanted to see Phil get babied, or people who wanted to see him suffer.
Him here, but that's not my goal. That's not what we're here. Our goal tonight is simple. I want to get to the truth about DarksydePhil.
This interview went pretty well for Phil at first, but Steve had a very large line of questions ready, starting with where did all of Phil's money go? Remember, Phil and PewDiePie at one point worked for Machinima at the same time. And there was a point Phil was bigger than PewDiePie. And PewDiePie actually got laid off from Machinima, so that way they could afford to keep Phil. He was making a very, very large amount of money for a very large amount of time.
Well, a lot of people have said to me things like, this guy has made millions of dollars. Where did it all go? Mm-hmm. And I guess especially, in case you're not aware, like I mentioned right before we start broadcast, that you have a degree in finance. So people are kind of, I guess, understandably going like, this guy has a degree in finance. He's made at least $1 million since he started. But yet he always needs money, and that's a big criticism, And by the way, I'm on your side. Like, I have a viewer-supported show. I hate asking for money, so I make a joke of it. Like, I get televangelists clips to ask for the money so I don't have to, and just I make a joke of it. Like, I understand that you're under the gun, and you got to.
Now, Phil, when he does this smile, it's like, it's like that meme where it's got the guy like with the smiling, like smug face. It's a mask. And then underneath, you can see him like seething.
Pay your bills, but people are pretty critical about like, you made $1 million. What happened to the money?
The thing is,
the money, Phil?
when you're a content creator, right? You're under a different eye of scrutiny.
The only reason why Phil is under such an eye of scrutiny is because of how much he lies about where this money is going. Now, for years, he has said things like, oh, I need this money so I can pay my taxes. I need this money so I can pay my car bill. Just things like that. And then he gets caught spending that money on something completely different. He will beg for money on the internet to buy one thing. And then if he makes all that money the next day, he will beg for more money. Now, if that was the toughest question that Phil got during this interview, he would have probably been pretty happy. But unfortunately for him, Steve asked Phil if he would be willing to do a lie detector test. I've got some curated highlights of this that we're going to go through.
It says polygraph test.
Uh-oh.
It says polygraph test. I don't know if you know this. Ashton from Kino knows it, and Andy Worski know it, but I have a polygraph machine, and I'm basically certified polygrapher. So for the rest of tonight's broadcast, I'm going to ask you to answer all the questions truthfully. And then after the show, I'd be willing to come to you and administer a polygraph to make sure you're answering the following questions from here on in truthfully. And failing that, I happen to find a retired.
So this is the plan that Steve is doing right now. Phil is going to be asked a series of questions, and then he will be asked the same series of questions later, hooked up to a lie detector. Steve is qualified to use the machine, but he's also about to get a private investigator to do the same thing if Phil is okay with it. Phil, knowing what he's in for, is about to try and weasel his way out of this.
FBI polygrapher that lives right in your area, and he's kind of friendly with me. He's done a job for my show before. He's in Seattle, so he could just easily drive to where you are and administer the polygraph either at your house or at a hotel nearby your house. Would you be willing to submit to that?
For what reason? What benefit do I have to do that? Because a lot.
If Phil passed this lie detector test, so many of his detractors would actually stop. I know that lie detector tests they're not usable in court, but they are a very good indicator.
so that you could clear your name. Like everybody keeps. Listen, Phil, everybody keeps saying you're lying about a lot of stuff that we're going to get into next. Better way of redemption of passing a lie detector test. What better way to prove all these evil detractors wrong? I've got a polygraph set up and a chair, right? It goes in a briefcase. I could take it on a plane. I could be at your house in a couple of days. I need a little bit of time to, get the plane ticket and figure it out. But like, Phil, what better way to shut up all your detractors forever? I think this is a great idea. And if you don't agree,
I think it's a great idea. Steve thought it was a great idea. And the entire chat, while this was going on, thought it was a great idea.
Agree to this, it doesn't look good for you. Because it kind of looks like you're avoiding.
Let me fully respond.
Responsibility.
Shall I? Shall I fully respond?
Shall I? Go. Holy.
By the way, that's 2 offers. And here's what I would do to make it completely fair. If you agree to it, I'll do a polygraph, and the FBI retired polygrapher. He's an expert and he's a member of the American Polygraphers Association. He's a world recognized expert. He's worked on tons of criminal cases, worked for a lot of high profile lawyers on the West Coast. I'll get us both to do a polygraph. So you have 2 shots, and then we'll both tell what our results are. Because I haven't been doing it for 25 years like this retired FBI guys.
We're going to pause right here. So, Phil, he's offered a chance to do 2 lie detector tests. So if he said the same thing on 2 different lie detector tests, one said it was true, one said it was false, the results would be pretty inconclusive. I think most people would agree, like, you can't really use it. Like, if both of them said the same thing, Phil could be, like, redeemed, essentially. Well, not redeemed. Even if everything he said passed, there would still be people who, like, hate him. But Phil could easily have done this if he was telling the truth and had his life turn around for his redemption arc.
So, in fairness to you, we'll do 2 of them, and most likely we will concur on the results. So that would mean it would be impossible for you to pass 2 of them if you were lying, in my opinion.
We're going to pause right here for a second. Now, I will admit this is a trust me bro kind of moment. I have no proof of what I'm about to say. In the live chat, as this went on, the DSP detractor, as Phil would call it, Duty Streams, went in and said, if Phil passed the lie detector test, he would stop making videos on Phil entirely and donate all of the money that he made off Phil for like 2 years to Phil. I don't know Duty's finances, but I'm going to assume that is a fair chunk of change. And the only reason that Phil would have not taken him up on that is because he's guilty. Let's get back to this.
What you're proposing to me is an opportunity to prove my detractors wrong. Okay.
Yes, Phil, you are given a golden opportunity to prove everyone who hates you wrong. If you're telling the truth.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what this is. All right.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity. I'm giving it to you. And by the way, by my own expense, I'm going to pay for the other polygrapher. I'm going to pay for the flight, the hotel. I'll pay for my meals.
Now imagine how many guilty people in prison would love to get this opportunity. Phil is able, if he's telling the truth, which I'll spoil this right now, I don't think he is. If he's telling the truth, he will be able to pass a lie detector test. And I want to say, like, even if it's only 20% of his detractors say, hey, we were wrong about Phil. Hey, maybe if this was wrong, what else was wrong? But that's not how Phil sees this. Instead, he sees this as, what's in it for me?
You don't have to pay for anything. Yeah, but
they wouldn't care.
Let me be very honest with you, Phil. I don't think that you'll pass either polygraph.
I agree with Steve. There's 0. If he would have passed, he would have said yes.
And that's why you won't take it.
That's
I don't
fine.
think you can pass a polygraph.
Hold on.
Based on the evidence that I found, and we're gonna show it to the audience tonight.
Did I say no yet?
Did I say no yet? Well, Phil is certainly not going to say yes.
You can't. Well, let's go. What did
I say no yet?
Make the decision.
I'm explaining.
Or get off the pot. There's a road to redemption right here. Right here, I'm giving you the road to redemption.
If
you could piss it away, and people are going to shit on you forever for passing up this road to redemption, or you could take the high road here and prove everybody wrong once and for all.
It's not the high road. That's bullshit.
It's not the high road.
the high road because the people who care about me don't care about any of this. They don't. They're coming to my streams every day to enjoy games and to hang out. They don't care about any
Don't
of
you
this
think
drama
that your
shit at
supporters
all.
would like knowing that you didn't blow
No, they don't
thousands of
care.
dollars on a mobile game?
I already told them
When
I
they were
did.
giving you money the whole
I've already
time?
told-
You don't
I've
think they would
already-
benefit from that?
I've already fessed up that I did. I already cleared all that up. It's already happened.
Well, I guess in fairness, you may be right. But
So here's the definitive answer, okay?
Okay.
The only way I will do it is if it actually benefits me. And it disproving my detractors does not benefit me in any way. Okay? If this is going to happen, I need to have actual real incentive for it to happen. It's that.
Yeah, here comes the pay me. Again, I want to remind you, Duty Stream said, hey, you do this, all what I made off you for 2 years, I will donate to you. And here Phil is asking for money up front.
That's simple.
Oh, so in other words, you want me to pay you to take a polygraph to prove your innocence and help you prove your innocence?
There has to be
I'm
incentive.
already
or else
paying for it.
there has to be
You know what?
something.
It's going to be a couple $1,000s for me to get a plane ticket, hotel, meals, whatever, and pay the other polygrapher. It's going to be a couple $1,000 just for that. I'm not. I even if I put it on a monetized video when we're done, I don't think I'll recoup that. Now you want me to pay you on top of it? That's a little much.
It's your idea, and you're the one asking to do it, not me.
All right.
I don't care.
Let's move on to this next thing. I don't believe that you've been honest about the bank leaks. I think you lied about a lot of that because it's in your benefit to lie. You don't want your detractors to know how much you've been spending on gin and wine.
I want to talk about the DSP gin theory right now. So DSP, his bank account got hacked. And in these bank leaks, he spent a ton of money on gin. So the theory is that when he's streaming in like disposable water bottles, I think like the 750 milliliter kind, like, you know what I'm talking about. He will take out the water and fill them up with gin. And the reason why people believe that is because, number one, he buys a ton of gin. And two, gin is like clear. So he could like fill up the water bottles and he doesn't drink like, when I drink those bottles, I chug them. Phil, on the other hand, he will take a little swig and then like put the cap on.
And DoorDash and a WWE game.
Why would it matter?
Oh, let's get to the bank leaks, especially. You say they're fake.
Hold on.
Phil,
Why would it
in
matter?
order for them to be fake, the person that faked them would have to know what kind of car you drive, who your internet service provider is, who your electric company was, who your garbage company was, what their monthly charge was at the time of the bank leaks for people living in your area at the time of those leaks. They'd have to know what restaurants you eat at and when you ate at them. They'd have to know when and where your wife gets haircuts. They'd have to know what your local water company was and what you pay them every month. They'd have to know when you go to Burger King. They'd have to know when you go out to eat, when you do DoorDash, when and where you go grocery shopping, how much your back tax payments are, what your mortgage company is and how much you pay that every month, how much you're making on YouTube. They'd have to know how much you're making on Twitch, what accounting.
Before we go any further, I'd just like to say, Phil, his bank leaks are pretty much undeniable. Now, they were illegally obtained. There's no denying that. Somebody hacked into his bank account and got it. But everything in them, it's pretty true. And Phil has denied it. His argument is, well, you can't really prove they're real. But there's so much information in those bank leaks that lines up with what he does in his lifestyle. They're real.
Firm you use and what they're charging you. The odds of somebody knowing all that information, it's like it would take a 007 CIA operative to fake these. All of these charges that are near your house. Did you know that all the charges are within just a few miles of your house?
That is a very, very bad picture of Phil on the screen there. And I don't know what that Nosferatu one is right like in the center for the recommendations, but...
And that correlates perfectly to, being right near your house. Here's a perfect example. And I've redacted as much as I can.
We already know this. Everyone already knows this, but go ahead.
This is the supermarket. This is the supermarket where you shop. It's 3 miles from your house. 4 miles, I'm sorry. And this is the discount store. This one's, 3.1 miles. 3.4 miles. I don't know. It's a few miles from your house. And I was able to do this mapping with over 40 of the charges, the Petco, the the place where you get your hair cut. It's all within a few miles of your house. And there's correlations where you said things on stream like, I'm going to get a haircut today. Those charges are there. It's virtually impossible for somebody to fake these, in my opinion. I've got 40 correlations. These are all stores and locations all right near your home in this course of this 18 months. Well, the reason that people are so upset, you could see in these charts, it shows that you spent more on transactions most month than your mortgage payment while you're begging your audience for money for your bills.
Okay, I just want to say this real fast. The most money I've ever spent on a phone game is Clash Royale. I think it's a pretty fun game, but I want to say, like, there's no chance I've spent more than $30 on it over the course of almost 10 years now. Meanwhile, Phil, I think up to 2025, like right now, he spent at minimum $5,000 on this wrestling puzzle game.
Wasn't my question. My question is, are you done talking about the bank leaks so that I can respond and we can move on?
No, yeah, I could show you more evidence. I could show you more evidence.
If you look at all the video game statues that he has in his home, it gets beyond out there. I won't say anything about him door dashing. I think if he door dashes once or twice a week, you know what? That's not really that abnormal. I think once a week would be more than enough, but I've seen a lot worse than that. Now, what we're about to see is that Phil tries to big dog Steve and failed big time. Now, Steve's also going to tell Phil that he committed fraud.
I'm trying to do you a solid with this appearance. I really am.
I'm trying to do you a solid.
That you're going to get a nice boost of attention on your content because of this. I do. You're going to have an issue having future guests come on your show if you yell at people like this. You understand? Like,
I'm not yelling at you. I'm not yelling at you.
Oh, you absolutely have been yelling at me, and I'm not. Just so you know, I'm not upset.
No, I'll say this.
You are very.
Steve was unbelievably good with Phil until Phil started lying and dancing around the questions.
Very agitated.
Oh, well, then I apologize. I get agitated when people talk circles and they don't answer the questions.
Okay.
And make excuses. You're making excuses. You're not answering the question. I'll let you answer, but let's go. I got more to show you.
Even if every single thing in those bank leaks are absolutely positively true, all it means is that I was very irresponsible with my money. I was in a bad financial situation.
No, it would mean you committed fraud. Sorry to interrupt you again. That's what it would mean.
Watch how surprised Phil is. So he will say how he asked for money, spent it on different things, and that meant he was irresponsible. Now, I think what Steve said is a lot more accurate. That is actual fraud. Now, I've never asked for money on my channel. I never would. But if I made a little goal saying something like, hey, listen, guys, I don't even know, like, let's say I wanted to get the super expensive Shure microphone, and I put a goal towards that. If I then spent that on, like, DoorDash, my car, anything like that, I think everyone would agree that is considered fraud.
All right.
All it would mean is that
you committed fraud.
In what way? Because
you told everybody that you needed because you told everybody that you needed money for one thing and you spent it on other things. That's a form of consumer fraud to some people's minds.
Wait, what? What you're implying here is that I'm like some kind of a degenerate gambler?
Yes, Phil, you are a degenerate gambler. You spent over $100,000 on a phone game to get different skins, different loot boxes. I don't even know what that game's about. That is, he also talks about later how he played Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. I've never played that game in my life. I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, but those gacha games are beyond gambling. And I'd say he's like among BossmanJack levels.
Who like would say, I need the money, and then I would go.
A lot of people are addicted to games. It's not something to be ashamed of.
I know. Steve, I've talked about this, about my past. That actually before this WWE Champions thing, I was actually way more addicted to a different game called WWE Supercard and Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. That those two, I was actually spending way more on than I ever spent on WWE Champions. Okay, so I know all about the addictive nature of overspending and all of that, and I have publicly admitted.
Okay, so a little while ago, I did this little test, and I wanted to see if you had bought the Battle Pass for Fortnite every single time since it came out. I think you would have spent like a total of $200 maybe, and that's over the course of like 8 years worth of Battle Passes. You know what? I think that Fortnite is an average game. I don't really like it too much. But if you enjoy it, I think $200 over the course of 8 years is a very fair price to pay. Phil, on the other hand, that's a house. That's a house. That's a car and a house.
I've done it.
All right,
Okay.
Phil, can we go through the haircut evidence and then you tell me what you think of it?
Steve,
Can we do that? Can we just go through it?
Now, how about I just finish my answer? Okay. And then we
You've
can
been
move on.
finishing your answer for 10 minutes here.
It doesn't matter if the blank leaks are real or not. I'm telling you my perspective. I've already
Do you
said
understand
it
it matters to your audience? It matters to the internet.
Steve, I've explained this to you already.
Phil,
None of
if
this
you're begging
matters.
for money constantly and you spent 40 grand on a mobile game, that matters. You're telling people you don't have money to buy food and you spent 40 grand on a mobile game, that matters.
I have been an avid game collector for many years. I've never seen an in real life amiibo collection bigger than mine. I had a pretty sizable Super Nintendo collection, 3DS, DS especially, Wii. But I've spent nowhere near $40,000 on video games my entire life, even if you include all my game consoles, controllers, and computers. The fact that Phil spent that on one phone game is beyond insane. So Steve brought on a YouTuber called DarksydePhil. As you can probably guess, he talks about DSP a lot. Now, he came on to talk about the bank leaks. Now, considering I said this earlier, those bank leaks have pretty much been confirmed for a long time now. I'm not going to be showing that part. But I will show two things. Phil promised his parents, if they gave him a loan, he would find a job that's not streaming within, it was either 7 or 10 years. Whatever that was, I think there's 3 years left to that promise, as well as Phil spending $40,000 on WWE championships, but not his honeymoon.
You promised your parents you would get a real job in exchange for the money that they gave you, and I believe you scammed them. You took the money and you didn't do what you promised them.
That's not true at all.
You know what I would give to have my parents around to keep a promise to? Go ahead.
You're bringing up so many things again, more random stuff that it's
because you were in debt and they cleared it up. You made a promise, you broke it.
Talking over again. That's not. Oh my goodness. What debt? Do you even know what that money was for?
I know you promised them to get a job and you haven't yet, and you had a 10-year plan that you haven't made any progress towards.
That didn't happen either. See, all you know is hearsay from things that have been said. You don't even know the situation. You don't.
You raised money to visit your dying parents. You lied and you never went. Come on, Phil.
What? Now
I have the clips. I have the clips of you lying.
Now you think I did.
You need money to go visit your parents while they're still alive, and you never went on the trip. Did you?
Yes, I did. I got married when I was there in my parents' house, and there's pictures of it. What the hell are you talking about?
And you played WWE Superstars on your wedding day based on the concurrent views or concurrent logins.
Okay, I gotta stop Steve here for 1 second. So just because Phil logged in doesn't necessarily mean he played. I think he 100% did play, but he could have just logged in quickly to get that login streak in.
This is so ridiculous. So
and you didn't take your wife. You didn't take your wife on a honeymoon because
you didn't take your wife on a honeymoon. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I don't think weddings need to be expensive or gigantic. If I'm being honest, personally, I think if you're not going to have kids or you don't plan on having kids, there's no reason whatsoever to get married or have the ceremony. But that's just me, especially if you live together long enough. Your common law anyways.
Afford it, but you could afford $40,000 on a WWE phone game,
Steve,
like an 8-year-old. If you look at the spreadsheets, you can understand why people are so upset because you're constantly begging for money, and the spreadsheet shows there's more money spent on a children's wrestling game than your mortgage. If these are true, you're a scumbag, bro. I'm sorry.
I am of a generation where homeownership is seemingly out of reach. So no matter how much you save, no matter how much you put away, it seems like that minimum payment, that down payment, just keeps going up every year. And no matter how much you save, you're never closer. The fact that Phil has spent more money on a phone game than his mortgage is, I can't even believe it. Now, Phil, after this interview, he would talk about it on his Level 1 podcast. This podcast was 2.5 hours long, but he mainly spoke about this one topic for about 2 hours. We're going to do some more of my curated highlights.
What happened last night was I go on a podcast expecting that it's going to be
He expected that it was going to be a little harsh, maybe, but like still kid gloves on.
A certain kind of show. In fact, I read to you just the other day exactly what I was told it was going to be. I guess I should reiterate, right, what I was told it was going to be, because I just want to clear the air here that, again, you know, this isn't something that I would have partaked in or participated in. When I was...
Yeah, if he knew there were going to be actual questions with actual proof that he wasn't going to be able to dance around, he would not have gone on it.
Financially distraught, when I was irresponsible, when I was stupid. You know, I look back now at stuff that I said and did on a stream, and my behavior with the way that I spent money, and I'm embarrassed because I was a dunce and because I was basically out of control in many different ways, okay? It feels like it's gone too far, and I think that last night was definitely that. Like, seriously. Literally every single thing that he brought up was actually copy-pasted from Kiwi Farms. If anything, if you are someone who's on Kiwi Farms and you were involved with all of that stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be pretty pissed.
Now, that is Phil trying to do the same thing Destiny tried to do. He's trying to push all the blame onto Kiwi Farms, and he's also trying to get the farms to go after Steve instead of himself.
Because he took credit for all of your shit. Like, he literally, line for line, see, I did this, I did this, I did this. No, he didn't. No, you didn't. That's other people's work that you stole, and you passed it off as your own. There was no originality there. He didn't do anything original in anything that he said. These are all accusations that have already been talked about. Okay? So there's two answers in place. Either Steve's agenda was to present things that he stole from another site as his own, to act like he did work, to look like he's some kind of a big-brained guy, okay, so that he could present a case to make me look bad and try to put me into a bad situation so that he knows that he benefits no matter what, okay? Or the other scenario is he's a complete fucking moron. So which is it? Is it that he's a bad guy who tried to fool me into a situation, or he's a moron? It's one of the two. So he tried to present it that, oh, well, we're going to have you do a lie detector test, right? And if you do this lie detector test, it'll prove your innocence. I said, no, it won't. What do you mean? Lie detectors aren't submissible as evidence for anything. They can be tricked. They can be fooled. There's been people who their name is Bill, and they sit down and they put on the lie detector test, and they say your first name, Bill, and it says they lied.
Now, Phil, he knows he would not pass that lie detector test. He knows that for a fact. Phil is also about to say that there is no reason for him at all whatsoever to do that lie detector test without some sort of payment.
Lie detector test doesn't mean anything at all. It's a waste of time for everyone involved. What it is, it's a grand spectacle, right? It's a grand spectacle because everyone, oh, what's it going to say? It's good drama, right? But who's it drama for? It doesn't prove innocence. It doesn't prove guilt. But whatever happens, people are going to say drama, drama, drama. And that's all they care about, right? So who would benefit from that?
You would, Phil. You would benefit from that, Phil. If you tested positive for that lie detector test, Duty was going to give you all that money. You would have gotten so many people saying, "Hey Phil, I'm sorry. I saw that years ago. I thought it was real. I was wrong." And even the people who would say, "Oh, no, you know what? Lie detector tests can fail." 2 of them failing twice in a row, Phil?
Let's do a lie detector. Why? It proves nothing. It won't prove my innocence. It won't. The only one that helps is detractors and you. And we'll make it benefit me. Oh, so you want me to pay you to do it? Well, are you going to make it benefit me in any way? Like, in life, do we all just walk around doing things that don't do anything for us? Is that what we do? Is that how we conduct ourselves? I was under the impression that we are finite beings who need to do things for survival. So in a day, what do? You get up and you eat. Why do you eat? Because you need to eat to survive. Now, how do you eat? Well, you have to do work to have money to buy the things you eat, right? So that's what I mean. Like, sadly, we're slaves to this existence that we have to do things for sustenance and safety and to live, right? So we just walk on, just do things just for the sake of doing them for no reason at all. You know, why would I like who do you want?
Why would I prove
should
my
I,
innocence?
You know, do things to benefit today while ignoring all of my own personal needs, right?
Now, those highlights, that ended around the 1 hour point of that video. Phil would continue to talk about that interview for another hour and a half. Therefore, I'm going to end this with one clip where Phil responds to somebody in a way only he can.
Barky with a $5 super chat. Will we ever, will never, oh my God, will never be over until we know how much money donos went to WWE champs. We know you spent over $100K. It's so obvious the bank leaks are real. Stop lying. Barky, thank you for $5, you idiot. Thanks for your money, dummy.
Steve would also do an aftermath stream, his being 5 hours long. But because of that length, we're just going to show a short part of the intro.
Tonight, I'm going to be responding to this moronic idiot who was stupid enough to claim that, you know, he's been grifting and scamming his audience his entire life, but he was going to go on a show called Truth Seekers, and I was going to give him a circle jerk, you know, glazing here, where I would just talk about his wonderful history of gaming. And it should be said, I mean it when I say that his early pioneering of video game streaming and video game competitiveness, I guess, was worthy of a little bit of respect. But he has burned every bridge. He has screwed every opportunity that he was given, and he has destroyed what could have been an impressive history and legacy of being that early video game streaming, you know, legend, by essentially scamming and begging his legacy into the dirt, into the ground. You did this. I didn't do this. So, you know, interestingly, we do this interview, and I'm going to have a lot to say. I'm not going to say anything about this drama with the Kino Casino, and did they know I was going to do this? And
okay, so this is very, very important. The Kino Casino, after this interview, they said, hey, listen, Steve went rogue. We had no idea he was about to do this. Meanwhile, Steve, he's about to say this too. They brought him onto the Kino Casino because he felt grifters. I believe those were his exact words.
You know, I will say this. I think they know what I do. In fact, they brought me onto the casino because I felt grifters. So what did they think was going to happen? But I don't want to damage that relationship. You know, I like those guys, and, you know, a big supporter. They really helped me out. Like they did say, they gave me this big audit. They did. They exposed me to a huge new audience, and it really helped my show and my channel, and I'm in their debt. But I'm not in their debt enough to do a softball circle jerk of one of the guys they're milking, right? No, they had to know enough about me, I think. But I want to be clear and put on the record that there wasn't any verbal communication between me and Triple P, you know,
Triple P,
or anything like that. Like there was no, you know, I didn't get instructions handed to me.
Steve was nice to Phil until Phil started lying. I'm not going to sit here and say that Phil is the devil, but he 100% lied, and he scammed his audience for years. And at this point, I really think he needs to put the phone down and stop playing WWE champions. Speaking of people, however, that get themselves in a massive debt, and we have, as Sam Hyde would say, Mr. Idubz. Idubz is best known for being a Filthy Frank side character and ruining his life by marrying a woman named Anissa. He was once at the top of the world when it came to views, and getting a content cop made on you meant that it was like a YouTube death sentence. Now, since then, he has denounced his old audience and tried to find a new one that falls more in line with what's known as the modern audience. This has not worked out very well for him. He is also known for his boxing event, Creator Clash. Now, I covered Creator Clash in detail in my video, Influencer Boxing is a Complete Disaster. You can watch that if you want to learn more, but I'm just going to make this short. The first one was an absolute success, and the second one lost $250,000. I did not think there would be a third event after that disaster, but here we are. To help promote Creator Clash 3, Idubz had an idea where he would punch a punching bag on stream for 8 hours, and every time he hit it, health would be taken off of its health bar. Meanwhile, every donation would heal it. This stream lasted a total of 30 minutes before that happened because of a clear lack of interest. Idubz had a goal of making $30,000, and instead, by the time that was over, $322 was what was donated. Now, he would keep that stream going up for the planned time, and he made $15K, only half of what he wanted by the end. Yeah, he finished it off by jumping on it and sliding down like he's a firefighter on the pole.
I was not expecting that shot.
Now, I know this is very early to say this, but I think that Creator Clash 3 is going to be a monumental failure. And if things keep going the way that I think they will, this is going to be the last one that we see. And that concludes our lolcow segment. In the last episode, there was a gaming segment. This is a little ironic because as much as I like playing video games, I don't really get to do it that often anymore. I guess that's just what happens when you get older. Even when I do get the chance, it's usually just Halo Infinite that I play. I will unlock that Master Chief armor someday. So from now on, this will be more varied about technology, media, and gaming. Starting with Skype announcing that it was going to be shut down. I think that Skype is really fascinating because there was no reason for it to fail the way that it did. Now, when I was in middle school, I saw videos on YouTube where people spoke on Skype all the time. And by the time I finished high school, it was something that I'd used pretty regularly. So I would talk to friends playing video games together, but then one day, and this seemingly happened with everybody, I just stopped logging in, and so did everyone else. So in 2015, it had a user base of 300 million monthly users. To put that in perspective, right now, January 2025, Discord reached its highest amount of monthly users, and that was only 200 million. Now, another thing Skype could do that things like Discord couldn't, Skype could call actual phone numbers, and it was available on machines as weak as the PSP, even though that service was discontinued in 2016. Skype was even included on every single Windows device, from Windows 8 or 8.1 to Windows 10. Then it was no longer included with Windows 11 because they wanted to switch to Microsoft Teams. Skype at one point was actually at the top of all messaging services, and somehow, at the point it should have been impossible to lose the foothold that it had gotten, Skype found a way. Now, I spent a lot of nights playing D&D and such on Skype, and while I haven't used the service in almost a decade, I will miss that call theme. Goodbye, Skype. I never paid you a cent, but I got more than my money's worth out of you. Now, moving on to everyone's favorite ogre, and we have Shrek. The trailer for Shrek 5 released, a movie that we've known has been in development for at least 7 years now, and people are rightfully not happy with what they've seen. Now, let me show you the rating that Shrek has gotten on YouTube, the new trailer. Whew. Now, there are many reasons for this rating. The story is not one of them, considering we don't know anything about it yet. Instead, a large focus has been on the change in art style. It looks a lot more cartoony as opposed to the art style that the series is more known for. Shrek's movie rights were originally purchased in 1991 by Steven Spielberg. So he originally wanted it to be a traditionally animated 2D movie, but he was convinced to have it changed to a 3D animated movie in 1994. This was about a year before Toy Story came out, and by this time, 3D animation was nothing new. If you consider 3D shapes made out of vector graphics, it had been around since the 60s. Now, if you consider that being 3D models, they started coming around in the 70s. In 1982, we got Tron, and while it wasn't a fully 3D animated movie, it was one of the first ones to seriously use it, with around 20 minutes of 3D animation, I believe. At this time, 2D animation was still largely seen as just being for kids. Now, this was due to things like Disney animated movies like Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and while cartoon shows like the Flintstones were made for anyone to enjoy, not just children, 2D animation would largely keep its reputation up until the 90s when shows like The Simpsons had started getting traction, and TV stations started importing anime. 3D animation never had that stigma attached to it. By the time Toy Story had come out, the first 3D animated TV show, Reboot, was well into its second season, and while the first season was much more Saturday morning cartoon-like, the second one onwards was more adult-oriented, in a way that could be enjoyed by anyone. And once Shrek came out in 2001, it kind of cemented 3D animation as a whole as something that anyone could enjoy. Shrek's main character, you're probably well aware of this, was very relatable, just wanting to be left alone. Its humor stands up to this day, and its art style was both realistic at the time and especially now. One of the things that people immediately pointed out was the new art style that the movie was using. Now, this is something that has kind of changed before. In 2022, there was a Puss in Boots movie that had a very comic-esque art style by blending 3D and 2D animation. And while I think that the regular humans in the movie looked far, far away from the realism I would have preferred, it was a stylized spin-off that did its own thing, and I think that's okay. Especially when the movie had scenes with Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, Pinocchio, and Gingy where they all looked like themselves. As you can see, these are exactly what you think of when you think of the Shrek characters. Now, let's compare that. What is this? What is this? I don't care about them referencing Shrek memes in the trailer, nor do I care that the Spider-Man girl is in the movie. What I do care about, however, is that the characters look like they're made out of plastic. They don't match up to what people both want and expect from a Shrek movie, and quote-unquote, the comedy in this trailer is not giving me much confidence. Now, considering that it isn't set out to come out until late 2026, I'd like to hope that we get a Sonic movie incident where the fan outcry causes DreamWorks to fix this. Nobody wants this movie to fail, certainly not me. But at this point, I feel like it has way too much corporate and top-heavy influences. I feel like they should be focusing more on having people who have worked on Shrek previously and combining it with people who grew up watching Shrek working on it. Again, I'm a little worried about this movie, but I hope that I'm wrong. Now, we're going to be moving on to the politics segment. Now, this is going to be a lot more bipartisan than the last episode, but if this is something you're not interested in, and I don't necessarily blame you, it was the least liked part of the last episode. Thank you for listening. But for everyone that's sticking through, we're going to be covering the arrest of Torswats. Now, in January 2024, this evil little idiot got arrested for multiple swattings on people. Now, how many would that be? I'm sure you're curious. 10? Maybe 20? There's no light behind those eyes, so maybe it's 50. Now, the real answer is that he's admitted to doing over 375 swattings. Alan Fillion here ran a Telegram channel where for a fee, he would swat whoever or whatever you wanted. Well, a year after enjoying prison, and he does not look so good. I have no pity for this man whatsoever. Every time he sent the police to somebody's door telling them there was a life and death situation, he risked the lives of everyone involved, from the target, the target's family, the police, children, pets, family, neighbors. And he would gamble the lives of all those people for as low as $50. I don't care if he was 15 when he started doing that, he was old enough to know better. Many of the people that he had swatted were in the courtroom to see his sentencing. One of those people was the author, Patrick S. Tomlinson, someone I'm excited to make a video about someday, but Patrick would tweet this out, and he was right. The prosecution is asking for 37 months in prison, plus 3 years supervised release. A rather short sentence for the domestic terrorism and hate crimes he pled guilty to. This strongly suggests Fillion is cooperating with the FBI to roll up his client list as well. Shucks. Darn. Now, thankfully, Patrick S. Tomlinson was wrong about the sentencing, and Alan got sentenced to 48 months in prison. Now, this is genuinely upsetting because each swatting carried a maximum of 5 years prison time on its own. Here we have a news article about it. California teenager sentenced to 48 months in prison for nationwide swatting spree. In my opinion, this sentence is way too short, and my only solace is that he's most likely a rat working with the FBI to name all of his clients. I would like this to be the first time and last time that I ever speak on him, but you know what? Who knows? And lastly, we're going to be talking about something that nobody is very happy about this time of year. Most certainly me, taxes. It is currently tax season. and ignoring my obvious bias considering that I started to file mine earlier this week before recording, but Doge announced on Twitter that they were going to be auditing the IRS going after waste, fraud, and abuse. Doge is seeking help from the public. Please DM this account with insights on finding and fixing waste, fraud, and abuse related to the Internal Revenue Service. I cannot think of a government organization that needs to be cracked down on more than the IRS. I use a service that for only $40 will let me put in my yearly income, all business expenses, and combine that with the last year's filed tax forms that'll let me get the most taken off. It's worked out great for me so far. I don't find a need to find a new service considering I only use it once a year. The reason I do that is because since I'm self-employed, my tax returns are a lot more complicated than most other people's. But for the majority of people, the IRS already knows what your income is, and they already know what you're supposed to pay them. They should be able to tell you what you owe. Rather than just tell you what you owe on your taxes, they make you play a game where you do the same calculations they do, and if you're under, you get audited, and if you're over, they keep the extra unless you request it back within 3 years. I believe it was last January 2024, Congress asked the IRS why they only audit the poorest of America while letting the rich do whatever they want, and the reason the IRS gave was that they knew that the poor people could not fight back while the rich could lawyer up. Therefore, I have absolutely no pity on whatever Doge finds on them. Now, I'm not American, so I have no dog in this game, but with the possibility of Canada becoming a 51st state, it's always good to know. Now, this was followed with 6,700 probationary employees getting laid off. And while this is March, so we're kind of doing a little time traveling here, there is talk of the IRS slashing up to 50% of its employees throughout layoffs and buyouts. On the Reddit page, Fed News, I saw there are a lot of people saying this is a horrible idea to do it right before tax season, but you know what? I disagree. The Pareto principle of 20% of the employees doing 80% of the work is something that I've seen firsthand and couldn't agree with more. Government jobs are filled with people that are there solely for a paycheck and their pension that will put more effort into finding ways out of work than put work into their actual jobs. I don't have an issue with people working for the government. It is a ton of very important jobs in it after all. But what I do have an issue with is when there are leeches who get appointed lifelong positions where they do next to nothing for 20 years. Those are the people who are upset and angry that they're going to have to list 5 things that they've accomplished in 1 week. Because if I'm being honest, they probably can't list 5 things they've done in an average month. Now, unfortunately, that's all we have for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
As the dimensional merge expands, it causes dimensions to collide. The many beings in Acronia are affected in ways that would make you say, "What the fuck?" WTF Series 2, Horror House, a cursed kiwi tale. A beloved friend, reanimated through evil means. A Chungus and his hunting grounds. A Rax devolved with child's play. A beloved scribe, now a corrupted Nosferatu. A Chungus driven to consume. And many more horrors. Brought to you by the Lolcow trading card game.